Welcome to the Toy Rewind Podcast with your hosts, the Brothers Newland. Now, let's talk toys.
And hello, everybody. I'm Michael.
I'm John.
And I'm Andrew. And you're listening to the Toy Rewind Podcast. This week, we have a fun episode. We're going to rewind back to 1986. Here's a few things just to get you in the mindset of happened in 1986. Oprah Winfrey started her show, The Oprah Winfrey Show. We all held hands to have hands across America. I mean, I don't think I was involved in that. But we all, held hands. By the way, that's a great Goldberg's episode. If you look back for it, it's fun. Studio Ghibli released their first show. I looked at what it was and then just forgot what it was. It's Lupita Castle in the Sky. So it's a great show. Great movie. I think I've seen that one a couple times. And then also Hasbro releases this toy line, Inhumanoids, for kids to love and enjoy for centuries and years to follow, right? Yeah. All right. So this is gonna be a fun toy line. These guys are pretty cool looking. They look fun. They're different. So I think they'll be fun. So we're gonna learn all about that. Michael's got long history for us. But before we get into that, we have a couple things we need to do. We have our fun for all question, and we got to let people know where they can find us on socials. So let's do that social thing, John.
Alrighty, where to find us? Check out our website, toyrewindpodcast.com. You can email us at toyrewindpodcast@gmail.com. Instagram, Twitter, and Twitch is all Toy Rewind Pod. You can look us up on Facebook and YouTube. It's Toy Rewind Podcast. And then we stream our Toy Box showcases when we do them to YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch as well. And then, of course, if you're starting this early, listening to us now, pull up our podcast bingo card, podcastbingo.com/Toy Rewind. And then keep an eye out for when we do our collector showcases with our buddies over at Geek Together.
Yep. And if you are playing bingo, while you were saying that, somebody's phone was going off. So there's a free bingo card for you. I heard it vibrating. Boop, 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 boop. Yep. So yeah, check that out. Also, before we get into our fun for all question, we are getting ready for our podiversary. We're just, about 9 episodes from our podiversary, or 1 year of doing this, hanging out, talking about toys. I know you guys have changed your setups quite a few times. I've been around the world, I feel like. But we're getting to our 1 year. It's going to be fun. We are doing a giveaway. So to enter into that giveaway, there's going to be multiple different ways that we're going to do. But right now, the biggest way for you to enter into the giveaway is to go to Apple, go over to iTunes, and give us a rating and review. You got to give us a review too. That's the only way we can see it. If you just give us a rating, which is great, we need the ratings, but we don't know who gave all the ratings. It just says how many stars you have, which we have a good rating. We have 5 stars, but we only have 1 review. So we've had like 6 ratings. So I guess we're doing a good job. But that one person that gave us a review, it was a few months ago, said that they enjoyed our communication, or what was it? It was something like that. They enjoyed the way that we talked and the energy that we bring these toy lines. So I guess we got to keep that up. Okay, and so like I said, and like John mentioned, make sure you keep up with the collector showcases. So we will be doing another one soon, and the toy showcases. I know John's going to be out for the next week, but I think we may be trying to do a quick one to show off at least one of those Transformers that Michael has this week. Yep. So we can break those up. He's got so many of them stacked up behind him there. So we can break those up some. All right, our fun for all question. Time to get philosophical. All right. Here's the question. It's a very interesting question. If you could go back 10 years, so back to, 2011, 2011. If you could go back 10 years, what one piece of advice would you give yourself? This is a very interesting one. One piece of advice from 10 years ago. I don't know. I got to think about this for a minute. Michael, it's a good thing we start with you because, gives me time to
I
think.
don't have enough time. I couldn't think of anything really, to tell you the truth. So
You couldn't think of anything. I mean, all right.
I thought about it for a minute, and I'm all, well, I don't think there's anything I could tell myself for anything different. So, yeah.
All right.
Just I guess I'm a pretty patient guy. I guess just be more patient. I don't know. I'll tell you the truth.
Okay, so John, what do you have? You have anything?
I would invest in something, buy stock into which ones came out, LinkedIn, Pandora, Groupon, Zynga, try to buy stock into those things right when they came out in 2011, when they went public, something like that.
Yeah, that would be a pretty good one because, I mean, there's a lot that came out. Even maybe just give yourself some advice for things that happened this year, like Dogecoin. Be like, hey, buy here, sell here.
I would definitely go to the route that.
GameStop. I'd be like, hey, go buy GameStop.
I guess it's kind of like Back to the Future when you had the almanac and you go back and
But the thing about this rule is because you're giving yourself advice, so this is not Back to the Future rules. So you're not affecting anything badly. You can actually interact with yourself. So I guess, it'd be kind of cool.
I guess the only thing I would have told myself was save more money, but I wouldn't have all this cool stuff behind me. So
I mean, that's
buy
true.
more of it from there.
It wouldn't be as fun. I mean, that's the point. It wouldn't be as fun and enjoyable.
I'd want to give myself maybe a list of all the Funko lines that are coming and be like, hey, you're going to want this. So get it here at this price so that you're not spending this amount of money or anything. But also, I like the stock one, John. That's pretty good. I would tell myself, make sure you have toilet paper going into 2020, like a good amount of toilet paper, because that becomes like currency. And I would totally confuse myself. And then by doing that, I would probably keep the pandemic from happening, just because I would be prepared for it. So, I think mine would definitely have to be around the pandemic thing, just to be like, hey, this is going to happen. Just be ready for it. It's good. It's not bad. You'll be fine. Just be prepared to stay inside for months at a time. So. All right, maybe
be preparing myself to do a lot of work. I mean, I worked my tail off this past year with all this.
Yeah, you did.
In the business I'm in. So yeah.
Maybe I'd give myself
John,
advice
you
that
weren't
we're going to have a podcast.
You weren't open part of that time. You did a lot of curbside stuff too. So that, I mean, and then not having help. That's the big part too. You got people being quarantined and all that kind of stuff. So that definitely doesn't help either, but it just causes more work. So just being prepared, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. Something just like that, just to be ready for it. Cause I mean, hey, it's not what you can do to stop it.
Crazy people talking about what's coming in the future and everyone looking at you like you're crazy. And then it happens and you're all stocked up with I'd buy out toilet paper for a while and make sure I'm good.
Yeah, so I'd be like, hey, Michael, we're going to come buy a bunch of toilet paper from Brookshire's and then have it
for 10 years.
We have it. We'll go fill the house up down there on the pasture. That way we've all got access to it. When we need it. So, all right, let's talk about some Inhumanoids. I can't even say it without looking at the word. It's such a weird word. Humanoids, it all works, but altogether, it's such a weird name for a toy line.
Avoid the Inhumanoids.
So all right, Michael, give us some history.
Okay, so Inhumanoids, the evil that lies within, is the tagline they had on this line. So the Inhumanoids, it's a 1986 toy line based on the cartoon Inhumanoids and produced by Hasbro. The cartoon tells a story of a scientist hero group named Earth Corps excuse me, as they battle a trio of subterranean monsters called the Inhumanoids. with so they also have a corrupt industrial named Blackthorn Shore that they have to deal with as well. So, but they battle these guys and him with the aid of elemental beings called the Mutors. So, brief little history on the cartoon. The cartoon started out as a 6 to 7 minute shorts that aired as part of a Super Sunday half-hour block alongside Jim and the Holograms, Bigfoot and the Muscle Machines, and Robotics. And with this and Jim and the Holograms, they both kind of came out and were able to have their own seasons to bigger, longer shows and stuff, 22-minute episodes. So they put these with the 15 shorts they had, they could kind of combine them into episodes. So there was 3 shorts per episode. So that made five episodes. They also went back and put those 5 together to make a movie out of it. But so they had those 15 shorts for 5 episodes. And then they added 8 more episodes, 22-minute episodes, and a total of 13 episodes. So that's as far as the cartoon series went 13 episodes, basically. So, whereas Jim and the Holograms actually got picked up, and they were, I believe 65 episodes, what they ended up with. But the Bigfoot and the Monster Machines, they didn't make it. They didn't even have a full 15 shorts. I think they ended up like 7 or 8 shorts. And then Robotics just had the 15. So, but it's just just one of those cartoons from the 80s that just didn't make it very far. So, but the toy line, go ahead.
I say, did either one of you watch any of the episodes this week?
No,
I watched the episodes, but
I watched parts. I watched some YouTube videos.
Yeah.
And they had little parts of it, and it was just kind of the cartoon was pretty. I guess back then it was kind of gory and different because there was a lot of. If you're watching it, they were battling the Mutors and the Humanoids, and they were like cut off the hand, and there was one guy that got pulled into a vat of acid, and he got. I mean, that's kind of weird for a kid's cartoon. It's kind of more.
Yeah. Well, I did.
I
mean, the YouTube video I watched was kind of over the stuff, and it was talking about how the kids, all this one and some of the others that were coming out were taking all the kids' TVs, and it was just all the TV was going to HE double hockey sticks or something, going to hell.
Yeah.
So this one was a very demonic one, apparently.
Just looking at the toy lines, or the toys, like I can't imagine the show not being a little interesting like that,
Right?
Yeah, it's kind of more like a PG-13 type movie type thing. If you watch, I guess back then on the cartoon, if you're a kid, you really don't notice that. I guess.
Maybe you just. Whatever.
But I know parents would have saw that and thought about it and said that's probably why it got. It only made 13 episodes, but. But just like Hasbro, the other lines they had, G.I. Joe and Transformers, it was Sunbow and Marvel Comics. They produced the cartoon series. So, and it was made over in Japan and brought back over here. So, just like it was with all their other toy line cartoons, tie-ins. So, but that's pretty much on the cartoon. The toy line itself, they had the 4 Earth Core scientists. So they had a Dr. Herman Herc Armstrong. They all had code names. So his code name was Hooker. He had a retractable grappling hook. Is what these all had action type features to them. So he had a retractable grappling hook. Then he had Dr. Derek Erickson Bright. His code name was Digger. He had movable claws on his hands, so that he can use like to dig or whatever, move rock, whatever he needed to do. And then there was Dr. Edward the First Auguder. I guess that's how you say his last name. Guess I should have watched the cartoon to find out how to pronounce his name, but his code name was Augur, and he had a spinning auger drill on his one of his hands on his suit. And then Dr. Jonathan Martin Slattery, his code name was Liquidator. He had a water pump backpack. So all these characters, the figures for the Earth Core doctors, the figures had them in their exoskeleton suits, exosuits, kind of similar to dang, my mind just slipped. The first episode we did. Yeah, so it's kind of they had that, and the only thing that came off was the helmet. So when you take the helmet off, you got this little bitty head on this big exoskeleton suit. So it looked kind of funny looking.
They look
yeah,
like
there you go.
Sitting in the deal on Beetlejuice with the shrunken head.
So this
it's got a shrunken head.
This one is Augur.
This is Augur. Yeah, it's Augur.
This is Augur. So I just want to point out that he looks like Lex Luthor. And Lex Luthor's exoskeleton.
Yeah, he's bald in the cartoon and everything too. Yeah.
Yeah, so he does. He looks very interesting. But yeah, these guys. I mean, they're
these are 7 inches tall.
Yeah, these are 6-inch figures on the scientists. The other ones, the Mutors, which we'll get to in a minute, they're 7-inch, and then Inhumanoids, the monsters, those are the 14-inch. So they're pretty good size. They're pretty good.
Yeah, pretty good size toys here.
But the thing about these guys, they had. Let's see, where's my notes? These actually, they were a lot bigger than your normal, your GI Joe or whatever. I mean, if you look at their body compared to their head size, if they had a normal body, they would probably be the same size as GI Joe. But the suit that they wear that you can't take off, so that's the figure. It's huge compared to all these other lines that came out. They trying to find out. I don't remember where I wrote that on my notes, but anyway, that's just jumping to that part. So these guys were pretty good size compared to all the other lines in that series or in that time frame. So this is what I put. Inhumanoids and Mutors work well because of their size. But the doctors of Earth Core were large and bulky compared to the other figures of the time. So
they didn't really work well with other. They didn't work well with.
No, if you use them with if you use them with your others, they were just awkward looking. So so anyway, to the Mutors, which are the elemental beings that help. There was 2 kinds. There was the Redwoods. And there was the Granites. The Redwoods were kind of like Treebeard and stuff from Lord of the Rings. They were live trees that walked around and talked and all that kind of stuff. There was 3 different ones in the toy line. There was Redland, which was a dark colored redwood. There was Red Sun, which was a light colored redwood. And those were the 2 main Redwood characters, and then they had a Redwood race, which was all the other guys in the like if you're doing if you're building an army building or whatever, you would use these guys. So they were gray was the color they were, and the actual feature they had was they would actually elongate to become taller, so they would kind of fold out to become like they're growing. And then there was the Granites. These guys lived underground. They were more rock.
So here I have
a picture of Redwood there.
Yes, this is Redwood. He looks like to me the camping cups that you would you make a cup. Yeah, that's what he looks like. That's cool.
But like you said, the gray ones were just the race, and I mean, these things were, I think when I looked them up, they weren't horribly cheap, but I don't see somebody's parents buying 5 or 6 or 10 of these to make an army of them.
Yeah, I don't think kids back then. I never thought of it of just building armies with. I know
Right.
a lot of people do now with their collecting stuff. They'll build armies and stuff with just your basic guys. So I hear.
So is this the one you're talking about,
Nate,
Michael?
which one?
Sorry.
No, it's you.
There we go. Sorry. There we go.
Yes, that's Granite.
So this
that's
is
Granite.
Granite.
Yeah, he's the. So Granite had two of them. So you had Granok, who was gray. That's the one you have pictured there for those who are watching on YouTube. And then there's the Granite Race, which is all the others. He was more of a beige color.
Oh, okay.
So,
okay.
And then, like the redwoods, they stretched out to become taller. The granites they could actually fold up to look like a pile of rocks. So their arms and their legs kind of fold in funny, and they
if
would
you go
kind of
back
lay
to the
down.
picture, you'll see the grooves in here.
Yeah, I was about
where
to
the
say
arms
these.
and legs are.
Yeah, that's
yeah,
cool.
you can see where you can kind of fold them up to make them look like a pile of rocks is what they look like. So, and then there was one other Mutor. He was Magnacore. He was actually the guy who, and when we get to Metlar, I'll explain this in a minute, but he's the one that was kind of keeping Metlar with his magnetic abilities. So Magnacore was actually, he kind of looked like one of the Granites. He could split into 2 different characters. They were actually twins. You got Pyre and Cryo. And I don't know which one was which because one was molten lava looking and the other one was a solid. And you could actually, and really the solid guy would just go on top of the other guy.
I was about to say,
you couldn't, he didn't have any movable features when they're like that. And it's just a shell. When you pull them apart, when you look them at the front, they both look the same, but they're different colors. But the one of them was just gray. The gray one, you couldn't move it. He was just a shell that actually went on top of the other one. So it really wasn't much. Very very playing with them. Yeah. Whereas the one once you pull the hard shell off of him, he can move his arms and his legs and stuff. But once they're together, you can't really do anything with him. So he kind of holds. He's kind of like that the wrestling pose, the WWF wrestling.
What's his name?
Magnacore. When they're together as one, they're called Magnacore.
Okay.
And then you have Pyre, which is the molten. I think it's the molten lava guy, and then Cryo is the solid one.
So this makes sense because as together, if they're if he's not the molten core, if he's just like the rock form, those don't move. I mean, obviously the other ones that we just looked at, you could turn into a pile of rocks, but they don't move that much. So if you're stuck in that one position, but as soon as he becomes the molten, and he's the core part of it, he can move around more. I mean, all right, I'll go with it.
But I think it would have been cool to have both of them as full figures instead of one just being the outer shell of the other one, and you can't really you can't play with them.
Yeah,
right. But I mean, they tried to stick to the cartoon on that to where they split to make the 2.
Yeah, they made split, but they could have figured out some other way to split them to make them 2 different full action figures instead of an action figure and then a shell of an action figure where it doesn't move or anything like that. So, but
one of the flaws.
So this, like I said, this was a 7-inch figures. And then the 14-inch figures, which was actually the star of the toy line, which are the bad guys of the show, which is the name of the toy line, the Inhumanoids. These were big guys. These were 14-inch figures, and you can actually use these guys, if you're playing with other toy lines, other figures outside of this toy line. I think they would actually work pretty good. Like I saw one guy, when I was watching it, he was putting his up against like Voltron, because Voltron is a pretty good size.
Right.
And these guys were pretty good guys that they could battle, against something like that. So you had Tendril, which was a kind of a green.
This guy?
Yeah, he kind of looks like he's
like,
from the swamp.
I was about to say, it looks like a swamp,
thing.
kind of a swamp praying mantis mix thing going on here.
Yeah, it looks like he's made out of vines and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you had Decompose, which was a skeleton type looking critter thing. Tendril, going back to Tendril real quick, he had his tendrils, his tentacles on his arms would move, his legs would move. He had tentacles on he had two little tails, they would move. So that was, so he can move. He had those points of articulation. Decompose, his arms and legs moved too, but they were pretty stiff. But he had a rib cage.
Was that
he was kind of a skeleton guy, but his rib cage would open up, and you can actually hold your other characters inside his rib cage.
Like this person has Swamp Thing in there.
Yeah, he actually is Swamp Thing in that one.
So this guy looks like he belongs directly out of the Dark Crystal.
Yeah, he does. Yeah,
and I just want to point out this tuft of hair that comes.
Yeah, he's got that one little strand of hair that comes out of his. Top of his
I didn't want this.
There.
If you're watching on YouTube or if you're looking at this, I didn't want you to think that this is just like something that's in the background. This is actually coming out of the toy. This tuft of hair is coming out of the toy. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's very interesting.
Yeah, the whole line's just interesting.
Yeah.
And then you had Metlar, which was the true bad guy. He really didn't have any features. He just looks like a evil looking goblin guy. Yeah. So his hands. It's kind of like between a goblin and a Rancor, kind of what he looks like.
Rancor. That's what I was trying to figure out where he. So he's got these arms that are completely. I mean, he's got 4 fingers instead of the 3 because Rancors only have 3, I believe. But this face belongs somewhere, and maybe it's a Mel Brooks face, to be honest.
It kind of looks like like the leprechaun off of that.
The leprechaun. There's so many things. It's just freaking scary.
Yeah,
this is nightmares for me.
But he's the main bad guy that, and in the cartoon, Tendril and Decompose, they kind of do what he bids them, and then they kind of team up with the other guys, with the good guys, and try to battle against them too at some point. And the whole cartoon's kind of screwy. So, but so everybody's helping everybody, but they all hate each other. Yeah, it's just kind of weird. But anyway, so those, like I said, those were pretty good size characters. And then a couple of things about the packaging. They all had little cutouts of bio things of them, kind of like G.I. Joe had. You can cut them out and save them, bio cards. And then the Inhumanoids, the Inhumanoids they came in boxes, a window box, and the Mutors did as well. But the Earth Core scientists, they came in like little blister packs on a card. It wasn't like a box or anything like that. And then there were 2 vehicles for this line as well. There was a Terra Scout. This had a front-mounted drilling apparatus. It had a movable laser on it, movable hinged headpiece, and then a rear sentry platform. This would carry two of the figures, 2 of the scientists. Cool description on this. This is Earth Core's armed underground exploration vehicle. It was used for digging tunnels, searching for Inhumanoids, and exceptionally maneuverable in battle. So, like I said, it held 2 of the 4 characters. And then they had, excuse me, then they had the Trapeur. I guess you want to say it that way. Trapeur.
They went French.
It's like French written. It's like it's written in French. It's Trappeur. It's not Trapper. It's Trapeur. So this had a detachable hovercraft with harness trap, retractable control panel, had a retractable grappling hook, which was on a rotating arm for the grappling hook, and then it had a front-mounted claw as well that you can use. So a little description on this. Subterranean vehicle guides the Earth core scientists on dangerous underground expeditions, equipped with a super grip claw, retractable grappling hook, and detachable hovercraft with a unique harness trap. This vehicle captures and subdues Inhumanoids. The Trapeur also maps subterranean chambers and detects all forms of organic and inorganic life. So,
Can you say that again, Michael?
Trapeur. I guess that's my East Texas French right there.
It's like a French lesson. There we go.
Yeah.
We're an educational podcast, so that's fine.
Yeah, educational. The thing about, and also with the, I think we touched on this a while ago, the doctors, they all four of them had helmets that came off, similar to mask, is kind of what they were. But the heads were small compared to the exosuits that were it would have been better if the exosuits actually came off and you had a figure with it, a smaller figure inside there. But when you take the helmet off, they have this little bitty head. It's just funky looking.
I don't see why they couldn't have done that.
Yeah, I don't know, but another feature on this line, a big feature on this line, it's small details in every figure and the vehicles, but it had a glow in the light feature. So the Earth Core's helmet had their visors were glow in the light. Then Humanoids, they had all their fangs. The Mutors, their eyes were part of it, and the vehicles had a little visor thing, little thing on them as well. Both vehicles had one. I guess when the light, if you look at their helmets and top of the figures, they had a little spot on top where when the light would go shine straight down in, you could see it reflecting out of the other part of the visor on their helmets.
It's kind of like that really bright orange, reflective, clear plastic is what it is. So that way you got an idea of what we're talking about on this. But when I read it, glow in the light, I'm like, what are you talking about when you just read it? But when you look at it, you can see it's just that.
Yeah, it just takes in the light, your normal green, light, and it just kind of makes it brighter. That little feature on the figure, a little brighter.
Yeah, so I'm going to share this again real quick because we talk about it. So the nose on this one.
Yeah, it's actually his nose right there. Yeah.
And then the eyes
on the trees, redwoods.
Over the trees.
Or the
eyes for Granuk also. His
front tentacles and
mouth tentacles.
Yeah,
fangs.
And then the top of his head.
Yeah, from what I read, they were like his fangs. The same thing with with him.
So Metlar, yeah. So he's got the fangs and then also the top of the head thing.
Yeah.
So these are their visors, right? Like the very top of the helmet.
Yeah, it's on their helmets. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's easier to tell here.
They're all green
easier to tell on these two.
Those guys, yeah.
And then,
if you had a picture with him with his helmet on, there's no way his eyes are where the visor are either.
No,
because the head's so small.
No. Yeah.
No, very interesting.
So, a cool little thing on a little variation was Tendril was originally released with 4 long fangs, but they were shortened for safety reasons. So I think the picture you keep showing, Andrew, on Tendril is the long fang one. And,
okay.
Yeah, because one of them looks like the picture you show, one fang looks like it's broken off.
Yeah. I guess it does. Yeah, I couldn't tell if it was out or if it was broken or whatever.
Yeah, so there's a short version and a long version on those fangs.
That's cool.
So they talked about, or one thing I found was that plastic that they're made out of is really, really fragile.
Yeah,
and it was really tough. Like if you did certain things, you'd probably pull the arms off and stuff, or break that clear plastic really easily. So that's one thing about these is they were a little bit more fragile.
Yeah. They did have a second series in the works for this release, but it was cut short pretty early. So they had one prototype that was actually that was made. It was Slither, which was another bad guy in the cartoon series. I think late in the series. I think they're going to use that to make even more that storyline to make more cartoons. Put the cartoon series longer, but since it got cut off, the toy line got cut off, and like I said, they only had that one prototype, and that was it. So there wasn't anything else. I didn't see anything about any other characters being made or anything. Just Slither was the only one.
How many episodes did you say there were?
There was 13 episodes total.
Okay, so 13 episodes done in 1986. I believe this is primed for a re-release. They should reboot this. Like, I think it could be. I mean, maybe you got to tweak the storyline a little bit. Maybe not as gory, but
Well,
I think they could redo
think about make a movie out of it, and
yeah, there you go. Something
they
fun.
make a good horror movie, I guess.
Oh, look at this. In 2009, Kevin Smith was rumored to be writing a reboot for the Inhumanoids, but it was canceled.
I think he just said it was rumored as well. It wasn't.
Yeah, he was not penning a script, but it was rumored. But yeah, so still canceled, rumored, whatever, same thing. So,
and they had also, like the other toy line Hasbro, Marvel put out a comic book series, and it only made 4 episodes. I mean, four of them, and it got Marvel cut it off, and during the middle of a cliffhanger, so the story never got finished on the comic books. So they only had 4 issues.
So I'm reading here the 2020 miniseries, Rom Dire Wraths by IDW Publishing, features characters and references to Inhumanoids. But I don't. Is that true? Because it says the Earth Corps are renamed as Adventure One Team. Is that a reference when you just rename something?
Just rename it.
I just feel like maybe that's just something else they're talking about.
Maybe they look. I don't know what. Didn't watch it or anything like that. So I guess maybe they kind of have similarities, but the name's not the same. So I don't know how you would even reference to them if you don't even use the same names.
Yeah, I just feel like that's something different. That's just something different they're talking about. So I definitely want to go and watch a couple of the episodes now just to see what it was, since you guys were talking about how gory it was. And it
didn't show any blood and guts, but it would just show. It would show like one of the bad guys getting one of the Mutor or the Inhumanoids getting their arm cut off. Yeah. And they're Inhumanoids, so it grows back. But they actually show it, his arm getting cut off. Kind of like Star Wars, everybody got their hand cut off in Star Wars.
So okay, you have any more history on it? Because I have some prices.
That's pretty much it I got on that. It wasn't much to this line. Like I said, it had the 4 Doctor figures, the 3 Inhumanoids, and then you had the 3 different Mutors, the Redwood, Granites, and Magnacore. And that's all it had, and then the 2 vehicles. So
okay,
wasn't much to this line. It didn't last long.
So I did some looking up on eBay, trying to get some prices on some of these, and then also looked up and found the original prices on how much these sell for. So the doctors, the doctor figures that you were talking about in the blister packs sold. Yeah, the Earth Core. Those sold for $5.99 originally. So 1986, $5.99. I should have. What is 1986 today worth? Today, what's $5.99? That would be roughly $11. $14.31. So that's not too bad.
No, not bad.
Smaller figure, $5.99. Or well, these are larger figures, but not like the big ones, like we're about to talk about the other ones. You can get them out of their packs, roughly $20-ish. You can get brand new ones in blister packs for roughly $50 to $60. So on all 4 of those, the only all the other ones were on eBay but they were kind of around the same prices. But the Metlar was the one that I was able to really look up the best. That was just a really cool looking figure. Obviously, those were 14 inches. You can get
that's the most popular one. That's one everybody wants, are those guys.
Yeah. You can get the Metlar packed. If you're on a good day for about $100, most of them go for about $250. But if you find the right place, like it's always, you can find it. Out of package, anywhere from 50 to 100. So those are pretty good. They sold originally for $25 to $24.99, which is like $60 now. So, decent prices. I mean, $25 for a 14-inch piece. I mean, Voltron behind me is 17 inches, so a little shorter than that.
And going back to our childhood, I do remember we didn't have any of these, but I do remember the Inhumanoids, those three. I don't know if it's just because I seen the cartoons, I mean the commercials so much for them, or if I had a friend or something that had one or two of them. But I don't remember anything about the Earth Core figures, the Doctors, or the.
We didn't watch the cartoons because that would have been on Sundays.
Yep,
we weren't at home watching cartoons on Sunday.
I don't.
Yeah, usually by the time we went to church on Sunday mornings, we were watching. It was earlier shows, which was Smurfs, and then I remember Space Ghost and. Thundar the Barbarian, stuff like that. It's what we watched on Sunday mornings before church. So,
right,
but yeah, the figure. But I do remember maybe just going back and looking through vintage toys. I've seen some of these characters, but the Inhumanoids themselves, Tendril, Decompose, and Metlar, I do remember those. And then the Redwoods and Granites and then Magnacore, I do actually remember those figures as well. But the Doctors, I don't remember any of those guys. Those four,
I'm telling you,
forgettable.
The one Doctor with the purple looks like Lex Luthor. I might have just confused him for Lex Luthor.
Yeah,
if
you put a little bit green on his purple suit, maybe it would look kind of like the cartoon version of Lex Luthor.
It's a very interesting toy line, though. Like the cartoon, everything just kind of mixed together. It's I kind of like it. It's out of the box. It's not just a normal, hey, here's some good guys fighting some bad guys. It's it kind of reminds me of the Bugman of Insecta or Insecta. Like it's different. You got to have something that's different. So like they tried something.
Yeah,
so,
I was thinking of Centurions earlier with the exosuits. I couldn't think of Centurions, but yeah, that's kind of what it reminds me of. Is that there? But
it's all right, Michael. You couldn't think of it. I promise you. 40 episodes later, me and John still can't say it.
No.
So, all right. So, real quick, let's get into this. We got to rank these boogers. Here's our current line. The 7 that we've done since we broke out and did our other brackets. That's what I was couldn't think of the word. I can't think of the word bracket. So, where did these guys line up for you guys?
Like I said, I do remember the Inhumanoids. The size of them, I think, it kind of helps remember those because they're so large of figures. I'm gonna rank these number 5 on my list.
There we go, number 5 for Michael, pushing down Ronin Warriors, Rainbow Bright, and the Karate Commandos. John?
Yeah, I think these are actually some pretty cool, especially the bigger ones. I definitely would have liked to have some of these. Man, I want to go number 5 also and push down Rainbow Bright and Karate Commandos too. So, well, there's a Michael on that one.
There's a bingo square for you. A couple matching rankings.
Are you putting above Johnny Lightning or below Johnny Lightning?
Well, if it's, I guess
said 5.
If it's 5, you're pushing Johnny Lightning down.
Guess I'd have to put Johnny Lightning because I don't know nothing about the cars. I'm not a big car person like that.
Yeah, so we still match. Yeah, 5.
You still match up. I'm also going number 5, pushing the Ronin Warriors, Karate Commandos, and Rainbow Bright down. So That's across the board 5 for everybody. We haven't had that since I think Nintendo. We all had Nintendo. Well, I guess it was a couple others. I guess maybe the first few, but
Well, right now DC superpowers are all across the board the same.
Yeah, still number 2. Sorry, I gotta pop my elbow there. So yeah, we got a number 5 across the board. That's that'll be an easy update for the website. So like I said, these are cool. These are, the size of them is different. They were thinking out of the box. It's not just like some superheroes fighting some bad guys or anything like that. They don't have crazy weapons. They're all a little different. I wonder if some of the Doctor's stuff, like you could go out and play it in the dirt and try to like actually, excavate things, and could be fun.
I don't think so. It looks too plastic.
Right, well, it's worth a shot to see if it would work.
I might move around some sand.
Sand, yeah.
I want to show this one last. I found this picture, and it's kind of small, but I just want to. So it's going to be blurry. I gotta reshare it because it kind of shows the size a little better. So this guy's holding this metal, and it kind of shows the size a little bit different to everything. So I just thought that was cool looking. All right. What else? What do we have? That's a quick episode, but that's all right. It's a smaller toy line.
So wasn't much. Yeah, wasn't much to this line. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's run through those socials real quick, John, to make sure people know where they can find us.
All right. So toyrewindpodcast.com. You can email us at toyrewindpodcast@gmail.com. Look us up on Instagram, Twitter, and Twitch. It's all Toy Rewind Pod. Facebook and YouTube is Toy Rewind Podcast. And then, of course, hopefully you've been playing the bingo and got a bingo or got close to one. So it's podcastbingo.com/Toy Rewind. And yeah.
Yeah, remember to go share, give us a ratings review on Apple, get entered into our Podiversary giveaway that we're doing. I know a couple of things that I'm throwing in. We're still trying to get those kind of mixed in, but there's going to be some Turtles stuff going in and maybe a Batman Funko Pop. So I think it's going to be a pretty big little giveaway. So I know we're trying to iron that out a little bit more over the next couple of weeks before we really announce what it's going to be. But the way to enter right now is make sure you give us a ratings and review on Apple iTunes. That'll help us pop up. I think we've got a lot of people listening and enjoying the show, enjoying the history. So yeah, go do that for us. That would help us out greatly. And while you're out looking around or different podcasts, what you want to listen to after you've listened to us, like don't listen to them first, listen to us and then go listen to them. Check out our buddies over at Geek Together. I know they were live last night. They record live on Twitch every Saturday night. And then they have a couple other shows that they do during the week. Be sure you check out the Average Nerd podcast, the Four Dorksmen. So they're coming up on their 2-year, or no, their 100th episode. That's what it is, which should be followed by their 2-year pretty quickly after that. So 3 Beers and a Mic, the STS guys, which record also on Saturday night. So they were on last night.
Nerdy only 2 of them last night, so I don't know.
It was only 2.
2 were at, yeah. But
I can never catch them live.
I jumped in too late on that to find out what happened. But
John, were you on early?
I didn't get on last night.
John was not. Also, Nerdy Curious, Nerd Portraits, movie retakes, the Totally Rad Movie Podcast, Secondary Heroes, the Figure Booth, Second Opinion, and then also solely over on Twitch also. So make sure you're following all those. And then it is, as of recording this, May 30th. So we're just a couple weeks away from the Dusty Attic Toy Show that we're going to in Garland. So be sure you're following our socials and you'll get more information about that. Maybe some confirmed other guests that may be there with us, along with just lots of people selling toys and checking stuff out. So I think it'll be a nice, fun way for people to get together. So if you're in the Dallas Garland area, that's June 13th. Do I have the right date, Michael?
Yeah, 13th Sunday, second Sunday of the month. Yep.
Yeah. So if you're in that area, make sure that would be fun to come by, say hi to us. Also, like Michael said, it's the second Sunday of every month. So if you're there, and it's only like a few bucks to get in, and they do giveaways. There's like I said, people selling a bunch of stuff. So if you're looking for a bunch of old stuff, so I'll be interested to go through and kind of look around and see how many of the things that we've talked about maybe there. So
Yeah.
I know Michael was showing a lot of Star Wars stuff last time he was there, so it'll be good to see that. So anything else we want to talk about before we sign out?
No, I think we've got things covered. I'm looking forward to the Dusty Attic show and having fun there.
Yep, it'll be fun. Well, all three of us will be there, so it'll be a lot of fun. So, all right. Well, then this has been episode 42. We talked about the Inhumanoids. I make sure I can say that right. Inhumanoids, and we had a lot of fun. It's a good little toy line, so check it out. And on behalf of the Brothers Newland here at the Toy Rewind podcast, play on.
You've been listening to the Toy Rewind podcast. Follow and join in the conversations at toyrewindpodcast.com.